Greetings, designers! In this video, we will explore the Extruded Boss Base command by starting with a simple sketch and then walking through the various options associated with it. Let's start off by initiating a new part. Now, for the purposes of this tutorial, we will select the front plane and click on the sketch command. And what I'm going to do is draw a simple line. We're going to make it horizontal, and we're going to identify it as a midpoint line. Select your origin and just drag whatever distance you want. It does not matter. And I'm going to exit out of this command by clicking on this green X twice. And let's go ahead and, I know I said it didn't matter what the dimension, but we'll go ahead and throw a dimension in there so I can show you some things that a little bit down the road here. Alright, the next thing we want to do is click on our features and activate the Extrude Boss Base. Now this allows you to create a thin feature. It automatically associates itself as such because you used only a one-dimensional object, and it's going to produce, or sorry, not produce, but project 3 dimensions from that single dimensional object. Now if you look at the line, you can see that depending on the settings, it projects the other 2 dimensions in various ways. So if we're looking, this is the line that we started with, and this is the projection. So if I change the direction, it changes which way it extrudes the thickness of the material in that way. Same with a thin feature. Now, if we set both of these dimensions, or both of these directions to midplane, then you'll notice that the line that we drew is centered. So it's projecting 1/2 of the depth in both directions. With the advent of it categorizing this as a thin feature, they do not set limitations for how much thickness you can apply. So you can start with a line and actually end up with a cube. You can make cubes of different thicknesses just depending on which way you want to go with it. It really doesn't matter. You can also let's do 0.05 and basically create like a piece of sheet metal. The possibilities are endless with just a line and this command. Let's back up and look at this same concept but with a different shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get normal to the plane, delete what we just put in there, and let's do a center rectangle. Again, for the purposes of this tutorial, it doesn't really matter what size you make it. And then that time I used the escape key to exit the command. I could have also clicked the OK or the green check mark. Now, we will go back into our Extrude Boss Base command, and you will notice that it is assuming that you just want to make a 3D solid object based off of two-dimensional objects. You have dimension 1, dimension 2, and this will be your third dimension, the thickness or the extrusion. So we can play with the different settings, put in whatever thicknesses we want, uh, utilize mid-plane. It's pretty versatile. Now, if we take off mid-plane and go back to blind, which means you just enter whatever information you need here, and I select direction 2, this gives me the option of setting different extrusion thicknesses on either side of the plane that's associated with this 2D sketch. You also notice that you have the thin feature as well. What happens when we click that? Well, its default setting is, well, 0.10, and I've been playing around, so it's 0.05. So what this does here is it gives you basically a hollow or a chute, maybe a piece of HVAC equipment or ductwork, if you will. And depending on the variety of selections, there's a multitude of operations that can be done with just these options that would normally require you to create a sketch, create a solid, create another sketch, cut through, add dimensions, multiple sketches, just to achieve the same geometry such as this, which I think is really cool that you can do all kinds of different things with just a little bit of effort. You can create some complex shapes with this simple command. It's very, very, very nice. Now, if we select or activate this cap ends choice, it closes off the ends. And let me make that more apparent here. And this gives you basically an impossible manufacturing component. There's no way that one can manufacture this in the real world. It's basically a block with a hollow inside, and that's not achievable with any means of any type of manufacturing. Unless you create weep holes, welds, hollows, and different parts to assemble to make something like this. You just can't produce this. And this is a very important concept to take note of when designing. One must be familiar with various manufacturing techniques to know what is possible and what isn't. Let's go back, and I'm going to delete all of this, and I will show one more shape to kind of round out this tutorial. Let's do a circle. And again, we'll select our Extrude Boss Base from the Features tab. And with the same type of options, you can do a lot of different things with it. And if we have the selection as blind, we can do the same thing that we did with the square, or the rectangle rather. And if we activate the thin feature, it does the exact same thing. So you can create pipes this way. Which is really fun. So be sure when you're doing some design yourself, definitely practice and play with all the features and options to get an idea of what happens when I click this, or what happens when I do that. The extruded base the extruded boss base command is very powerful, and it is extremely simple to work with. So like I said, definitely experiment with it. And I hope this information in the video assists in your design efficiency. Be sure to check out the other helpful videos in my SolidWorks shortlist playlist. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing for more content. Thank you so much for the opportunity to enlighten you.